everybody, my name is Aram. I show you what there is to service on a BIOROWER Pro after the first 3, 4, 5 years, depending on where you use it and how much you use it. Step one are the bronze bushings. So the bronze bushings are these parts here, this thing right here. If that looks exactly the way it does here and it's not broken, then you don't need to replace it and you're good. Felix, can you show this as well? So the bronze bushings are also interesting here on the inside and the same on the other side. So that should be intact. If it's intact, you are good to go and you don't need to replace it. There is no need to change it if it's not broken. Once we're here, step number 2 are what we call the eye screw. The correct terminology would be rod end, because this is the rod and it's the end of the rod. So this here, now you see why we call it eye screw. This is something you can rotate completely around. It turns around 360 degrees every possible way. So that's something that you should lubricate. So you use a drop of light engine oil and grease it. Make sure it's nice and lubricated. You know this needs to be replaced when it makes squeaking noise despite being oiled. Then you need to replace the entire thing. Up to generation 2024, that part could be replaced individually. As of 2024 plus, this is one end, but it's thicker. Therefore, they last much longer. Okay, third part here on the rigger is that little hole right here. Here, this one. So this is actually designed that you can pump a little oil inside so that you lubricate the axle that is inside. And in order to make sure everything is lubricated, I like to take the rod off. So just like we showed you before, I like to take the oar lock off, and then you loosen this screw. You don't need to take it off, just loosen it. Then you take out the entire rigger after you've put a bit of oil in it, and then you flip it upside down. Let the oil go the other way. Use gravity in your favor. Put it back. Rotate it a couple times. Put it upside down again. Rotate it a couple times. Put it back. This is how you distribute the oil the most effective way. And then here is the spring. The spring eventually needs to be replaced when it breaks. Eventually, these rubber strings will wear out and break, but with the new hook system, they last forever. So the chance that you will have to replace this is actually very little. Maybe after 5 years, really depends on the environment you use it in. This is about as much play as there should be in the inboard. That's it. If you can move it more, and this screw right here, and these bolts, and that screw is tight, then the chain is too loose. And then what you do is you open this, and that screw. This is a bit bigger and you don't need to open it. This just holds the two parts of the covers together. So that doesn't need to be opened. Just these 4, same on the other side of course, and then you need to open one of the 2 screws on the underside of the cover so you can separate the covers. Then you have 2 nuts right here, and these nuts need to be opened as well, and then you lift it off and slide it out. One more thing here on this side, you need to take this knob off, so you counter with a screwdriver and you manually rotate this little knob off. What I personally do is I don't even remove the riggers for that. I just leave the riggers on. I just slide the covers to the outside. It gives you enough room to access the chains. You really can save yourself the trouble to do that. Then you need a 24 mil key, which is included in the delivery, and a 10 mil key. The way I do it is I slide this 24 key over that socket. This has a spring inside. It's important to understand how this works. It's got a spring inside. And the spring pushes on that little wheel here. So in order to loosen it, I use a 10 mil key. And I slightly loosen a bit. Give it maybe a millimeter or 2 more in tension. and then close it again. It's really not much. It's a tiny bit of rotation. And there is a chain tensioner here. There's also a chain tensioner there. In order to get this one, you simply clip this one off, and then you have access to this chain tensioner as well. This is about as much tension as you need. It's probably almost too much. But these chain links are not the same length all over. It's the same with a bike. So I recommend you pull on the inboard and see if you can push it in the same way all over. This is about as hard as I would have it, as stiff as I would have it. If it's too stiff, it makes a clunk, 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 clunk rattling noise. If it's too loose, you have too much play. So anywhere in between is the sweet spot. You know that you have the right tension when you don't have too much play on your inboards. That's it, not very complicated. When we do a 5-year service, we also clean the transmission, and we actually take it apart and we look at all the bearings and we inspect every little detail to make sure it's good for another 5 years. But again, if you are far away, there's no technician around, you don't want to do it yourself, don't worry. If it doesn't make funny noise and it still feels good and nothing's broken, use it. A BIOROWER is going to last forever if you take proper care of it. Thanks for watching.